Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining us. Today we have Sarah again on the podcast. Hi Sarah.
Hello, how are you all? I'm super
So
happy to be here.
yeah, so let's jump back into just our usual flow and like you just said, like the last few days were so intense and powerful. Like how do you feel about that?
Oh, I don't know actually. It's been a lot. I feel like the energies have become a lot denser for me in a way as I can see that there's a light body and a dense body, and I'm kind of hovering between the two. So yeah, it's been a very interesting time. I'm not super sure what's gonna happen next, but I trust it's gonna be for the highest good. Even though it takes a while to integrate.
Yeah, they keep blasting us with new frequencies, but there's beautiful thing that comes out of it.
Yeah,
Do
for
you
sure.
wanna do you wanna read what you channeled yesterday and read to me just before?
Yes.
I'm gonna let you lead. Okay, by the way, everyone, Sarah is the chef today. I'm just
I
a follower.
um so basically I got this message from my own records, and basically what's happening, if you haven't already been aware of it, is that the times are changing and we need more and more people to search for their true identity amongst all this chaos. Some of them, so some of us people will become the masters, healers, and loved ones of this new world. We will support our communities in any way that we can, and we will help others connect to their selves, their true selves in a way. Like the authentic self, who the self is, without any of this programming or whatever that has been fed to us, like since the time we were born, pretty much. Next, there will be people who lead, and these people have a really important role. They are going to lead others into destruction, and it's not something for you to be afraid of. It happens. I think destruction and like rebirth, they go hand in hand. Destruction always sounds really scary, but if you look at the tarot, for example, like number 16, the tower, you have to destroy it before you get to the star and before you get to the moon and the sun and all the other cards that come after it. So that is the role of some people in this process that's happening. And yeah, don't be afraid of it. It is important. So yeah, don't be they must not be afraid. Fire is reborn from its ashes time and time again. For these people, we commend them. It is not easy to play the role of the martyr, the activator, the change maker. It is not always love and light in the way modern spirituality has put a spin on it. The earth has gone through so many civilizations, some which are not written about. All of this is easy, what you no longer need to worry about. It is the putting into place of these nuances, structures, what we call these remembrance cells, that will be difficult. Mm-hmm. So I think what is going to happen is, as the world as we know it is falling apart, and I mean we can see it, like the energy of 2020 has been so different, like there's COVID, there's all these things happening to the south of the border over here, um, and all these other countries in the world, like the news doesn't cover it, but if you search around, like you'll see it, like governments falling. um, People have new ways of thinking. People are, it's very cliche, but people are waking up. And I think I've seen it most in 2020. I've seen it most since March, especially since we all got put in lockdown. I'm very excited about it. I know that the process to get there to a world where everybody is cared for, is has equal opportunity, where everybody has a life that they deserve to live, instead of being put into some system that, like tells them what they should be doing, that forces them into, like some kind of job based on how productive or how much your value is. We're going to get to a place where none of that matters, but we are going to have to go through some hard times. And it sounds scary, but I think it's necessary. So yeah, we are going to have to think about what we want in this new world, and all of us are going to have to play a role in it. It might be different for all of us, but we're going to get us there, and I'm super excited. And that is, I think, the first step to unity. I don't think it's the first step, but I think it's what it means to be part of like the collective consciousness or unity consciousness, because now you're not just thinking about like myself, but what can I do for other people? What can I do for the people around me? How can I care for other people and the earth and my animal friends and all the other beings? So yes, I rambled a little, but I think this is the theme of today's episode. It sounds scary, but we are going to have lots of fun because we will be drawing. And yeah, I also have a message from the records for that. So it's going to be a drawing exercise that me and Capucine will be, I guess, facilitating or drawing. You can listen along, but also, so this is from the records. We designed this drawing exercise with you so listeners can gain a better understanding of their multidimensional selves and an extension of their talents and work as they work to bridge in the new world, energies, and reparations, rebuilding and filling the gap for the new earth energies to come in, leaders of their new world, as everyone will be. Take some time, have fun, do not be too hard on yourself. This exercise is meant to let you kick back and relax as you meditate on what you would like to see as you come into these turbulent energies, only to transcend to the next. This is meant to be accessible, so use what you need. Finger painting, oil pastels, digital creations are all fair game. Take your pick. Yes.
Thank you
So,
so much.
yay, I'm super excited. What is your pick? I have paper. I think I'm going to use color pencils.
I'm gonna use my they're called neocolor. So I don't know if anyone knows that, but neocolor is basically, it looks like pastels, but if you put water into it, it becomes watercolors. So you both have the texture of the raw pastel on the paper and then the watercolor. That, like, I love that. It's so multidimensional. Let's see. And I've got some metallic paint and gold and things like that as well. But I would love to add one little thing, and I don't know if the records will be okay with that. I guess they will. But you channeled so many prompts, and if anyone wants to share with us what they drew by listening to us, like tag us. We will put our names on the show notes and in the video notes, and like tag us, show us what you drew. Like, what does this mean to you, and how does it look? And I want to see. So let's make it a collective effort.
Okay. I'm very excited.
All right. So back to you.
Me. Okay. I guess the first question is the first drawing prompt is, what does it mean to be multidimensional?
How do you feel about that? Let's start drawing, but how do you feel?
A lot of things, because it's like different layers, different frequencies, different emotions. But now also maybe it's like different galaxies. I don't know. What about you?
That. Well, I think it's something that correlates with us with our aspects of having a Sagittarius North Node. I look for the answers. And I think multidimensional means no answers. And it's really scary because I keep trying, but in the end, there's so many things, so many dimensions. We are so many fractals of so many things. So to be multidimensional is just to be, like, be nothing at all in the end. Right?
That sounds really cool. Almost like your like fleeting flux. I don't know how to say it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And in the end, maybe that's because also like Andromedan, like the idea of we don't look like anything because we're always shifting into something else.
Yeah.
Let's draw, let's see what happens. Do you have visual for it? Because I'm trying to find one, but
I have one, and it's gonna be, those things that you always see me drawing. It's gonna be like that, and I'm gonna layer it because it has many, many bodies.
cool. And also, I want to ask you, today
Yeah.
we've been talking within the Andromedan group. We can
Yeah.
still draw at the same time, right? But we've been talking about frequency. Did you read what we wrote?
I read some of it, yeah. Especially the one about frequency. What did Paige say? That was really good. It was the difference between energy is the manipulation, but frequency is what was that word? Frequency is the level or the consciousness, the level of consciousness. I think I'm saying that right. I really like that, and yeah, I really vibe with that. And I also think that is what multidimensional is. Like you can like boop, and you're like a different frequency, or you can choose to be a different emotion or a different like expression the next moment or the next day, ever changing.
Ever changing, ever new. I love that. I love the fact that we can be multiple and all have different answers that are so multidimensional, but they're also. Something that Dennis told me was we all have keys, but we don't have the same keys. And I think when we connect together, we're really making that puzzle. So that's what I was trying today with like, hey everyone, everyone jump in. Like this is our answers, add yours. And a lot of people on Twitter have been just adding their answers. And it's fascinating. So I'll put the link also so everyone can check and add their own understanding of what frequency is.
Oh, that's so cool. I haven't seen the thread yet. I will look for it after.
Yeah, it's really cool. Imagine a project like that where we're just all making that big encyclopedia. That would be cool.
And that's what, remember how we talked about we're like dictionaries for energies or collecting energies. I think that's really cool too, because energy, in a way, I guess energy is the manipulation of it, but energy is a frequency. Because if you think about like Lemurian Reiki versus Oceanic Reiki, there's a different frequency to it. Yeah. I think I could go on days about like my weird, no, they're not conspiracy theories, just like
go on. I'm listening.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, like maybe what if it was the memory of a certain place, of a certain time? Like, I feel like when I use Lemurian Reiki, it holds like a specific time code in it because it's like when I use it, I can see memories, I can see things that maybe they're not my memories, but it's the memories that were channeled in the form of energy to like the person who then passes it on to other people. So it's like keeping it alive in a way. Yeah.
It's like a braid. I love that. I've been working with plants because I'm Celt of origin, so I was like, I've got to go into that and dive deep into it. So for a few years now, I've been collecting plants and drying it and like drinking it as tea during the year and like specific time and talking with the plants, and the plants give me their symbols. And when I get that, I feel like I'm just directly in my genes of like the blood and the symbols. And it doesn't only bring me to the celt, but also to the starseed. So I'm always like, huh, okay. It's very interesting. I don't know how else to describe it except there is a code to it.
There is. And there's also like, how there's different densities to plants and humans. So wouldn't that be a frequency too?
Yeah, exactly. We're going in the second density with plants. But I keep thinking that men and women have a different way of going about like their spiritual path. There's the male spiritual path and the female spiritual path, and I'm not talking about gender. I'm just talking about like sex, I guess. But someone on YouTube is called Aaron Abke. Abke, I don't know how you pronounce it. He was saying that men need to think and like to reflect and listen to someone talk in order to let the light come in because they're like rational. They need to have like a kind of a decision and stuff. So that's what why Eckhart Tolle and all those men are like working with a huge part of the population because it speaks to them. But women are more about the experience. Like we're learning through the experience, through making the rituals, through all those things. That's not to say men can't do this or we can't do Eckhart Tolle, not at all. But I think transforming all the books with experiences that we're facilitating is a gift to all the planet and all the population. And if that comes through drinking that tea or drinking that plant that spoke to us or the symbol or whatever, that's even like why we're drawing right now. We're collecting an idea and putting it in an experience, something that people could feel. Like I'm sure that the drawing will have a frequency, but I don't know, I just wanted to
That's
say
cool.
that yeah, that's cool. Like I'm so interested and attracted in making it an experience. You know, like I've got all those books. Every time I have a thing, I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna make this in Shifter, and like I'm gonna facilitate that and talk about it and then see. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, that's actually really, yeah. I don't know. Sorry, my mind is like, because now that I'm thinking about it, my mind is going, whoa, that's really interesting.
experiences. Yeah. Imagine a community where you go to the cinema or you just go and have your ritual and heal yourself and like do 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 do.
That's
That would
gonna
be
happen
cool.
in New York. I hope. I know it will. I'm super excited. Over here in Vancouver or in BC, a lot of people I know, they're starting to, and this is going to be one of the prompts, but I shouldn't give it away. Okay, but they're starting to build communities. And they're starting to move to like their own, like they get a plot of land, and they grow their own vegetables. They grow, yeah, it's very different. I guess I think it's called eco community, some of the words they use. So yeah,
I
that's
love
really
that.
yeah.
And I have one other question. Have you met anyone that you met on this conscious community? Have you met anyone in the real life?
No. Wait, have I?
No.
No, they're all online. I'm like, have I? No, they're all online. But
Okay,
it's okay because I know I'll get to
of
see you
course.
guys soon.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. But I just want to say, like, it's for example, I've met Rafaela, and we see each other like a lot now, and we actually met before that, but it was funny. We met before we even knew of spirituality, so that's kind of a funny story as well. But
I read about that
it's
on their website,
yeah,
or
yeah.
maybe
It
something. Yeah.
So I was a photographer before, and she was a model. And one time we did a photo shoot together, like 8 years ago. But that's it. And now we met through Reiki school, and so we see each other in Paris a lot, and we are building this friendship that is, you know, like you feel the energy of the other person. So it's not like, hey, how are you? Yeah, I'm fine, even if you're not fine. We're actually doing like shadow work together and like all those things. And it's something that my genes and my physical body is not used to because, you know, I'm not used to it because I haven't had those kind of friendship. So when we see each other, we're adapting to a new level of like growing close to one another as friends, as souls who recognize one another, and we help one another also. But it's also something that is really it's new. So I wonder how those communities would work, right? Those eco communities where you live in that realm, age 24, you know, like all the time. 724, 24/7. Yes, 24/7. But yeah, I think it's that thing, you know, you just feel the energy. There's no walls. I think it's interesting.
That that feels very safe. There have been some communities in here in Vancouver that I have, like, I guess being a part of, or I have, yeah, I don't know, being a part of seems like such a weird term because it's always there. It's just like sometimes COVID forced some of these like spaces to close, but it exists in the astral, in the ethereal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still a part of those communities. Whatever. And yeah, it really does feel like that. You feel safe, you feel taken care of, and it really feels like people, instead of, like they're just sharing their resources, what they have. And resources doesn't just mean like money or just food, but even just sharing knowledge and sharing authenticity. That's really a big part of it. Yeah, I think it was like the first time that I was in those communities where when I was acting up, when I was like, self-sabotaging or like having feelings where, like when you feel like you're not good enough or you're kind of spiraling, and it's almost like people, like you're projecting it onto people. And like, oh, I'll be like, oh, do you want me to do this? I'll do this if you want, kind of thing. What's that word? Like when you feel like you need to serve others, so you're not good
People
for.
pleasing?
Yes, that's the word. People pleasing. Usually like a common reaction, or what I'm so used to, is just people don't call me out on that, or people don't say anything about that. But in those communities, they do it in a really caring and nice way. Um, but I think that's one of the things that was really like, it touches me, because it's like you don't let me fall into my own trap of like something that's no longer beneficial for me, and you do it in the most compassionate way, that you show that to me. It might not be the reaction that I want from someone, but it's going to be something that helps me. Does that make sense? I feel like I went off tangent, but
There's nowhere to hide. That's how it feels.
yeah, that's the word. Yeah.
I totally understand. It might be scary to the Scorpio placements.
Um,
Yeah, we're finally being seen like we do when we are true Scorpios. It's interesting. But I'm lucky that I get to, for example, meet with you and with other people and share this path instead of kind of doing it all alone, and that we get to really like build friendships who are like, hey, how are you? How are you? How are you? Let's share this, like it. I don't know, it just feels great.
uh, and I'm glad.
Yes, exactly. So this pen with water is not the best thing in the world, but it's interesting. Maybe I don't have the technique.
I'm drawing with pencil. I wonder how I'm gonna color it, because I usually use Procreate, so then you just like change the layers. Okay. Let's try.
Okay. I look forward to seeing them because I love your characters. They are so adorable.
Thank you. I think I drew a frog. I don't know what this creature is that I drew. And I want to tell anyone who's listening and drawing that it's okay to draw something with a hand on its head, because it's what it means to be multidimensional.
Exactly.
My frog
Everything
has
is okay. When you see what I'm drawing, you will not have any shame about whatever you're doing. I don't really have talents. I just love
No.
doing what it needs to be done, like what it wants to look like. But yeah, we'll see.
Why did I make this frog green? If he's multidimensional, he could be purple. I'm gonna give him purple.
Well, maybe he's a heart chakra frog.
Yeah, okay.
There's a lot of green in my thing as well. Maybe I should add some other things. Did you listen to the recent videos by Debbie Solaris where she's having clients in sessions that look like pages sessions? For example, the Akashic healing sessions, that the healing page, just like shout out, that she's doing, and where she channels your records and helps you to meet your soul in different ways. And Debbie Solaris has been. She shared a new one yesterday about avian Andromedan, and she says
Oh, I
something
saw
that
it.
yeah, she said that Andromedans have sparkly auras. And I was like, oh, look at us, we're so cool.
I love
Sparkly
that.
auras. It doesn't get any better than that, does it?
That's what it does feel like though when you think about Andromeda. They kind of have
Mm,
like a it's not white, it's not silver, but some kind of like it's a sparkly body. It's a body
yeah,
made out of light. I don't know if it's the same thing as a light body in the sense of like, like the light body with the macabre, but it's a body that's made out of light. So, yeah.
I get that. And what I see when I'm in Andromeda is the light body of all the plants and all the animals, and like everything is sparkly, like those filters on Instagram. That's why I've been using them. I'm like, yeah, I've got glitter everywhere. Yes,
And there's like sparkles on the thing behind you too. The
exactly.
yeah.
It's
Okay.
metallic paint. I really wanted it that way, so it shines. Okay, I got scared. My hair went into the candles. It's okay, I'm
Oh,
fine. That would have been a great podcast. And
are you
I
done?
have a question. Do you ever get contacted by other starseed origins, energy frequencies that would be part of your lineage or part of your story? Or is it
Yeah.
solely Andromeda?
So what I have traced is I have a life on Andromeda and I spent so origin I think is Andromedan or I know it's Andromedan, but I have had a lifetime on Sirius. So I have been contacted by Andromedans and even in the real world, like the Earth world. I talked to a lot of Andromedans, like you, and recently, actually, a lot of Andromedans have been finding finding their way to me, and I've been finding my way to them. So yes, but I also talk a lot to people who have had lifetimes on Sirius. So like they are Syrian in origin, or yeah, Syrian. That's the star seed name. Syrian in origin, but yeah, like I don't. Does that make sense? Oh. And then also people who have had lifetimes on Andromeda who are not Andromedan. So like someone from Arcturus who had a lifetime on Andromeda. Yeah, so like I'm connecting with people who have had lifetimes. So maybe like people who have had lifetimes on the same galaxy slash planets that I have had lives on. Yeah. Have you?
Yeah, and I always get confused, and that's also why I'm asking you with the multidimensional drawing, because sometimes I'm like, oh my god, I've been wrong this whole time. It's not Andromeda, it's this. And I'm like, wait a minute. But yeah, I've been in contact with different lifetimes that I've had on different places, and it's really visual. Like I get, it's like they're contacting me, and they're like, Capucine, come, do stuff, which is really cool. But sometimes I'm drawn to a specific energy, and right now it's Arcturian, and it's all about the mother, all about mothering things, creating things, giving birth to things. And they're called the cosmic midwife. So I was like, that's a really cool energy. So I'm diving into it right now for a few days, and I love it. So I wanted, yeah. Do you know anything about actors?
I know that Arcturians are, I think, one of the oldest civilizations, and they are they worked with Andromedans, I'm pretty sure. And this one I heard from Debbie. So I think it was they worked together with Andromedans to do I think it was called the New Earth Project. Um, so basically they were the ones who came here and like build a prototype for the Muria. And I think that was the first like yeah, I don't know. Do you know anything more about them?
Well, I also think they're one of the firsts, but Andromeda
Yeah.
is actually one of the really first. So that's kind of interesting. In this galaxy, at least, in this universe, I'm sure there's something before that. But I also get a lot of friends who are from Arcturus or aliens who move to Andromeda, and I mean, no one tells me that. I just see it in my mind, or it comes in dreams or meditations. Like, Dad is an Arcturian. I'm like, okay, cool, nice. Hey, Dad. He would die if I. Yeah, he's not watching. Anyway, but that would be funny. But yeah, I do see some friendships between species. Like, I do see and understand, like, oh, yeah, we've been meeting each other for lifetimes. I
Yeah.
remember you. Mm-hmm. It's
Yes.
interesting.
Yeah. And I've also noticed a lot of people from the Pleiadians? Yeah. Those ones are really cool because I don't know, they have a really cool energy about them. They're just so, it's like, I don't want, when I think about it, it's almost like Venus energy. It's like it's very beautiful, but you can just like feel the energy. It's very romantic. It's like love, but the love in the form of like romance, almost like that vibe. Oh, it feels so good.
Yeah, I
And
understand what you mean. And I feel like the Pleiadians are the people who woke up before us. That's how it
yeah,
feels. Like they came earlier and they're like, let's go.
yes. There's a lot of stuff I'm reading now. I think they were the first people here on Earth, and also Syrians. They were so Pleiadians and Syrians. They were the ones who were the first people here on Earth. And they had a lot of knowledge about, and this was like so many years ago, and all the knowledge that they had, like the information about the star systems and the information about like channeling. I don't want to say predictions, but like similar to predictions, like what's the optimal time to be doing things and when we should be doing things. They were all um yeah, it was all their work, and they were in contact with the star systems of like Sirius and the Pleiades, and I think it's really interesting because that makes me wonder what my people were doing. I know I feel like, and I could be wrong, but I know that the first people on this earth, the indigenous people, they worked so closely with the star systems, and they just got everything right. And it's just horrible that we evolved in such a way that we destroyed so much of this knowledge, so much um everything that what it's like to be in connection to the earth, to be in connection with spirit, to be in connection with your people, and so much of it is lost or has been disregarded. Like, it's horrible. um yeah, so that always makes me wonder. And I'm going on a tangent here, and it's like a very roundabout thought,
No,
but yeah.
I think we're here to bring it back. I think it's not really lost. It's, of course, in the records, but it's also, like I was mentioning with the plants, it's in our blood, it's in our genes, and I think that's why we come from all those places in the world. Isn't it interesting that we're not all from the same city? Like, we literally all have different origins, all different genes in this lifetime. I'm sure I mean, I know I've been in different continents, but this time maybe you're the spokesperson for your people and your indigenous people, and you will get into it. And I got this download last week actually, where it was like, okay, it's cool to do like all those frequencies and like all these things and have your own reiki and stuff, but the minute you tap into your genes, what's in your genes, you will blast it all. Like, it will be amazing. Like, time to study Celtic things, Capucine. I was like, Okay, cool. And I think if we all decided to be like, okay, this looks cool, Egyptian Reiki, amazing, all of this, amazing, but like, what do I have here? Can I study that? Can I go into it and then bring it about? Because we're cells, right? In the beginning, we're cells and genes. So I think going in, like, I've been having amazing visions about. Okay, my candle is gone. This is not a. Oh, she's back. Yeah. Okay. But I've been having amazing things that I've never read anything about Celtic, like technology and magic, and I'm like, whoa, okay, let's go into it more, and see if it gets quicker, faster, more powerful. But I think if we all go back to this, and yesterday was Indigenous Peoples Day, so yeah, I think we
Yeah,
should all go back
August.
into our own origins.
I would love to do that. Yeah, my mom is like part indigenous, so we have a lot of history that was passed down orally, and a lot of it has been lost. So I've been trying to trace it back. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I hope to do that one day, and I hope to see what comes out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that we do like our own shamanic healing practices, even my dad's side of the family. So I would really love to see what it's like to like know how they utilize the energy and how they worked with it. Like, see, it's a frequency. It's a frequency of memory of that energy. Yeah.
I love that. I can't wait to see what we do. Like you even said frequency, it feels like we came into those bodies, so those cars, and we have a specific engine. And you've been, instead of having diesel, which is your car's thing, you've been using Super 95. I don't know how it's called in other countries, but like for us, it's like Super 95, Super 98, and diesel. So you've been running on a super cool oil and you're able to go super cool in places and stuff, but in the end, if you put the right energy, your people's, your ancestry's energy, then you go even fast. I don't know, we'll see. But there's nothing like Celtic wise, there's nothing left. Like they didn't write books, so it was like orally there's some stuff, but it feels empty to me, so I'm just going to channel all of it and see.
That's amazing. I love that.
Akashic Records missions. Yeah. So, did you finish your multidimensional?
Yeah. I don't want to color the first person. I'm just because he's supposed to, or it is supposed, or they, I don't know. Yeah. It feels, no, this is going to be multidimensional.
Oh, it's so cute.
This
I
is,
love it.
this is like the transparent body. Um, and it's shape shifting and it's ever changing, the ability to change. This is a frog with a hand on his head because that is multidimensional. And this is me shape shifting into a triangle.
I love it. Oh, a pyramid.
What about you?
Okay, so mine is very abstract, but it's different colors and different shapes, and I thought I set my paper on fire again. And I don't know, to me it just means we're not even human. We're not even humanoids. We're just a lot of things at the same time that moves in different motions. And to me it's a moving thing right now, but it doesn't really look like anything. There's a little bit of gold, yellow, orange, red, and green. There's stars and mountains and a lot of things. So that's how it felt.
Amazing. It's beautiful. Oh,
Thank you.
so the whole thing has so many different, yeah, different things, different sides, different things you can be. I love it. Look at you, an artist.
Look at yours. So, do you want
Okay.
to read the second one?
Yes. Now draw yourself in this multi-dimensional realm. Who are you? What talents and skills do you have? What are your superpowers? What do you like to work on? Hmm.
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 All right.
This is hard.
Yeah, they were like, let's play with them.
Mm. You know those images of the blobfish with there's a fish that looks like a blob. I kind of feel like that would be me. Like malleable, maybe, or do many things at once and change.
And you did say recently that you felt connected to the whales, and maybe you're a cetacean whale, right?
Maybe. Oh, going back to how we were talking about being contacted by other star seeds. Yes, I've been contacted by the whales a lot. They're amazing. I've never, yeah, they're just so smart and so gentle, and they've never like actually said anything, but just being in their energy is a very like I'm very glad that they allow me to visit them, or they chose to visit me. I don't know. Um, they're really smart. They're record keepers. They have so much knowledge of the earth, so much knowledge about us. And if we wanted to get an accurate description of the earth, I think we should talk to the whales and not go on like Wikipedia or something. Um, but yeah,
I love
I
that.
love them.
Oh, let's go and meet them. I love that.
Yes.
And being in Vancouver as well, you have the opportunities to see whales, right?
Yeah. We get whales coming by sometimes if we're lucky. They're so, I don't know, when you just see them, they're just so magnificent and they're just beautiful.
I love it. Wow. So do you feel like maybe you were one or had a
I
life?
don't I don't think there was one, not that I know of. Maybe I worked closely with them. Um, but yeah, not that I know of. Have you had experiences with whales or dolphins?
Mm-mm. No, except how I liked them when I was a kid, but
Mm.
every time I do shamanic journeys on my own, okay, always with a jaguar, but when I'm in the water, I've had a really cool ray manta, like a manta ray. Yeah, I think yeah, oh, it's really cool, like gigantic. It was really cool, and I was both the manta ray and both mentored by the manta ray, so it's like, I love that. I'm gonna go
So
back there.
cool.
Yeah, it feels great to be in the water. It feels amazing to be not in the planet. I think we can feel that frequency. I went to Lemuria on Saturday for someone and I started talking Lemurian light language. I never had that before. And even though I do Lemurian Reiki, and they're just attuning me to so many different languages, and it feels beautiful because it feels like just playing with words and creating poetry, except it's with my fingers. Um, I'm still not really doing the voice things, just when I'm alone, but when I have someone else, I can't. I try, but I can't. Um, and Lemurian Reiki was like I was underwater, so every movement that I would do would have the ripples, and I would feel the ripples. So Lemurian like language was like you can't see the movement that's happening, but it's so powerful. And I was like,
And was it with hands and or voice or
no, just fingers making ripples in the water. That's how I got it. I'm sure other people can do, but for me, I was with someone, so the voice was like, no trauma, we can't do this. But on my end, I was just like knowing. It was very much of a head to toe thing where I had the whole body between my two hands, even though the space was like this. I was not like on the shoulder or on the heart, maybe next time. But they were showing me like put someone on a marble stand, their head, their feet, and then you just touch the different points like that. I don't know. Like that.
That's cool. That's, oh my gosh, that's super cool. I love that.
I'm just like silent, like, yeah. I wanted to say something like a wisdom, but yeah, nothing.
It's that's amazing.
Let's do a journey with Wales and Lemurian people and let's see what happens. I'm sure they work together.
Yeah,
Because
probably.
to me, they're there, right? Like every time I go to Lemuria, there's thousands of people there. Like they're in inner Earth, like underwater. Like not even mermaids, just people.
That's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my memories of Lemuria, what I have seen are like crystal temples, especially. Um, yeah, a lot of what I see is crystal temples. Sometimes I see people, not so many, but yeah, mostly crystal temples and a lot of colors. The colors are like, on a color wheel or like the color palette and stuff, it's always the sides with the purples and the pinks, like those kinds of shades. Yeah, it's amazing.
I get that. I got that too with like, you know how you see colors differently under the water? So
Yeah,
like I saw those colors like very faded yellow, but like very faded blues, very faded oranges, where you know it would be bright orange outside, but you see it as underwater thing. But it was interesting.
that's so cool.
I'm just channeling it right now. I'm a little bit silent, like channeling the remembrance of it. I also channeled some snake light language. And I was like, am I Harry Potter right now? Because I was like, I was like, whoa, okay. That was really cool. And I tried to record one for Shapeshifter, but I was a little bit shy, but it's really weird. I love it. Okay, cool. I used to be so scared of snakes. Are you okay with snakes?
So that's the thing. I used to be afraid of snake, all the way up till 2017, I think. And I was really scared of them. They would always be in my dreams. Um, but now I know why the snake is in my dream because I work really closely with the snake. Um, but yeah, snakes are beautiful creatures. Well, I wouldn't even say creatures. They're like beings. And my mom, so her her people, we're really connected to the snake itself. The king cobra or the cobra. I don't think it was king, it's just cobra. Cobra is like one of our, I don't know the word for it, but like it's a very holy animal. So yeah, like a god, maybe that's the word. Um, yeah, and I'm just really in awe of everything that the cobra brings. Um, for me, I work personally with a cobra. It's a masculine cobra, but he sent some of his, I guess, friends or other kinds of cobras to me. And the very first time that I was like pretty much what put me on this path or like what really like it was like the of my spiritual awakening. I saw a cobra. It was a female cobra. She was black, but she had like turquoise scales. So it was like black scales with like turquoise side scales and like turquoise diamonds in her eyes. And she was the most exquisite thing I had ever seen. And she hypnotized me. I just remember like lying there and I just got put into some kind of trance or hypnosis. And yeah, snakes are like so cool and they're just so smart. And I have a lot of like newfound appreciation for them. I think now that I learned that I'm not supposed, I should not be afraid of the snakes. Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
love that. Thank you for sharing. Thank you so much. I have a memory of my childhood where I saw a black cobra, but I'm like, now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, south of France? Cobras? Like, what the fuck? But I have the memory of walking alone in this place, and it was super um, warm, and there was like just rocks, and I remember that black snake waking up and like opening its thing so it looks like a cobra, and I just remember that. That's it. I have no mem. I will never know if it was real or not, but to me it was really real. Maybe.
Probably, maybe you really saw it, or maybe it was a memory from who knows how long ago.
Well, I talked about it when I was 7 a lot, so I have no idea. We'll see. But I also had my first awakenings with crocodiles actually, and then snakes in all my dreams and experiences. And I had my first out of human body experience was as a snake, where I was like this creature in the rivers of France, and I was a snake woman, and I was just taking care of the ley lines, and I was so angry, like extremely angry with the human race. Like I've never felt that much anger, and that was like my memory. And then now that I'm studying like the female path, I see all those snakes and all those things, and I'm like, whoa, okay, that's cool. Um, but yeah, I used to be so scared. Like even seeing them move would scare, like make my body shiver. Like, "Ugh." And
Yeah.
now I'm like, okay, yeah, cool, okay. Like I'm trying to get used to it.
Oh, that's a really cool experience. Really. Yeah. Um, I've been learning a lot about like I've been learning from someone. She calls herself a shamanic practitioner, so her teachings have a lot of these elements in it. And last last semester we did a lot of work into the lower world part of the earth, and snakes were a really big thing there. And yeah, I kind of see it as they're they're like very misrepresented, I think, and they're actually just so wise and they're so yeah, there's so much more to them. And I'm at a loss for words to describe them right now, so I just keep going in a circle. But yeah, they're really amazing creatures.
I had
Yeah.
this moment last week where I was like, why do you think she took the apple from the snake? Like, stop representing the snake as this, like, ugh. Like, it actually is, like you said, so wise. Like, it was from the tree of knowledge. The snake gave something, and the woman trusted the snake and took that apple. And there we are, right? Having this consciousness experience. But I love the fact that there is within me like a really angry snake woman who has so much power and is like, the fuck, of course we took the apple, and like, what are those ley lines doing? I'm really not angry usually, but I love that. Like tapping into that power. So how do you look in your multidimensional realm? Have you drawn?
Okay, so I I drew this and I wasn't aware I was drawing this. So I see it. I'm gonna take it as the sun. What about you?
So I'm still on that drawing, and I just put myself as this. It's a metallic black thing that started to resonate out. So maybe a voice, kind of. That's how it felt. Just emitting waves. Two circles emitting different waves.
That's
It's a
that's
very
it feels like
abstract
really
thing.
lost their personal world. I feel like you are frequency transmitter, frequency giver. So, Yeah, look at
Let's
you,
see.
out on the coast.
Yeah, I'm still trying to it's so interesting. Do you feel like that? Do you feel like you're able to pick up on the energy of others in such a clear way where you know where they're going? But when it's about you, you're like, oh no.
Yeah, that's how I feel a lot. Um, I don't know, when it comes to me, I always need to second guess it, or I need another sign, or I need someone to like confirm it for me. Um, but I don't know. I guess, I guess maybe, yeah, I don't know. I guess that's like the thing about being clairsentient. Sometimes it's like, I don't even have the words for it. It just feels like when you're taking in from your surroundings or others, it feels like this coming in. But when it's for yourself, it kind of feels like this. So there's no like extra buffer or extra processing space. It's like it's just like, okay, what does this feel like? Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. I love that image. It's not easy, huh? But we're helping one another. I think we're all like kind of being like, oh yeah, I see you, I see you, I see you. Yeah. But like astrologically speaking, for me, I'm supposed to be just like a voice, and I keep thinking about other things and getting lost in other realms. But like I'm a Mercury person, and I try to remind myself of that. But then yeah, what about you?
I'm a Venus person. Um, yeah, it's really cool because I'm a Taurus rising, Libra sun. I was born on Venus day, Friday, Venus hour, which is 9, yeah, like 9 p.m. So yeah, Venus.
Okay,
I
all
don't
right.
like late
So I
Venus.
could see the creation, the art we're drawing. Okay, that's really cool. It's really interesting how, like, what we have the most desires to do is where we have the most trauma as well. And, like, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. And you're like, oh no, let's try something totally different and lose myself for 6 months in there. Yeah. And how is your new year? Because your birthday was recent, right? Do you
Oh yeah.
feel comfortable talking about, like, do you feel a new energy? Have you checked your solar return? Like, how are you?
I did. I didn't check my solar return, mostly because I don't really know how to read my own chart, like transit chart. Um, but I looked up perfection years and I looked up and then I just tried to think about the difference, and honestly it feels like because my Saturn return is coming in December too, and it almost like it started to feel like I'm going through, it feels like what I felt like when Saturn moved into Aquarius earlier this year. It feels like the same thing again. For me, I felt like I couldn't catch a break. I mean, it's only been like 4 or 5 days, but maybe maybe it's just temporary for now. But it really felt like I was doing a lot of work, like being stretched too thin. So I think that's going to be a theme that's going to come out for my next year, which is learning how to, like, I think one important thing is learning that productivity is seen very differently. Like rest can be productive, you know what I mean? Like taking time for yourself and not doing anything, it's actually productive. It's productive for yourself, it's productive for me. So yeah, that's been the first lesson that I've had to learn so far. But
It's been
um
5 days. Oh, yeah, 5 days. Wow. And where is. I'm sorry if I interrupted you. I just wanted to make that joke, but where is Saturn in your chart? If you feel comfortable about sharing that.
and Saturn is in my 10th, wait, yeah, 10th house. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a very interesting return. It's also retrograde in my house. So we'll see. I'm like kind of excited because I don't know, I feel like yeah, if I'm resistant to all these changes, maybe it's gonna take a while, but I'm very excited to see what comes out off it, like new me. Um, yeah, it's just gonna take a while to get there.
Well,
Yeah.
you've got the help of all of us, and if we know, right, if we can speak to Saturn and make it happy, then you're going to be okay. Like you already know it's in the 10th house. So it's all about work and career. So how can you make it
Yep.
simple for you to automate all those things and like catch a break and maybe book your breaks, right? Maybe plan that once a week there's nothing, just you. I don't know. I'm saying all this,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna get hit by Saturn as well, and then we'll see.
How
But
was
yeah.
Saturn? How was your early set, like your Saturn return earlier this year? It was
Um,
an
I don't really remember except that I really loved that energy. Like Saturn in Aquarius felt amazing. But it didn't fully go into the house of where my Saturn is, so I don't think I got my first taste. And it's actually going there now soon, and it's in my sixth house. So it's all about health, also work and colleagues, but also health. And I can see that I need to be more careful about what I eat and how I plan every day. It's a day to day eating sports kind of house. So I will see. I got suddenly super lazy about cooking good food and things, so now I'm forcing myself. I'm like, this should be a priority. I'll try.
Thank you for sharing. Well, I'm excited for your return.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited that we're both like 30 years old. Let's just skip ahead.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I colored my sun in. I made it yellow.
okay, cool. So, who are
Yeah.
you and what talents and skills do you have? Do you want to draw them or do you want to tell me about it? And like,
I
what are your
don't
superpowers and what do you like to work on?
know. I think one of the things for me would be it's like dispersing energy, and I like don't want to compare myself to the sun because the sun is so grand. But I think that's something that I'm doing right now. I'm dispersing energy, with Reiki, with Seikam, with other forms of energy. It's like radiating energy out this way. And I hope that I'm doing it right. I give it to people, I give it to plants, animals, the earth. So in my multidimensional world, I'm being an energy channel or an energy source for other people, for other beings, for other elementals and all of these all of my surrounding. So I think that would be my skill. Maybe that is my superpower. But also, I feel like I'm really good at being a cheerleader. So like I can be really like cheery, and I also I like to encourage people to do the things they want to do, the things that mean the most to them. So yeah, I kind of see it as like solar energy or sun energy, very.
I like that.
So yeah. What about
Can I read
you?
you something? Can I read you
Oh yeah.
something about this? So there's I don't even know how it got here, but the Galactic Heritage cards,
Yeah.
they have one called the Solar Consciousness. Do you know it?
Mhm.
So the cards are really far away. I'm really far away in my one bedroom, but anyway. But the card looks like this usually. So it's a
Oh
sun, and there's such a thing as solar consciousness. Do you want me to read it?
yes.
Our solar system archetypally represents all the aspects of human consciousness. This is visible through astrology. The sun represents our highest potential of consciousness. the higher self. This is the higher self card. You have pulled this card because either you already have a strong connection to your higher self, or it is now time to develop that relationship. This is also a card of integration. Solar consciousness compels us to integrate our parts and become whole again. This process happens naturally as we connect with and become the higher self. The process has begun. And after that, it's going to be a little bit more about like starseed origin, so I'm also going to read that, I feel. This is a highly archetypal, powerful card, one of the most powerful in the deck in terms of personal evolution. It can represent the sun of our solar system, Sol, or the archetypal energy of any sun or star. It represents the bright light of awareness or the higher self. This is the energy that guides us, a consciousness beyond human personality, that is the awareness of all of creation itself. If it came up in your reading, then it could mean several things depending on your situation. It could be acknowledging the connection with your higher self that you are already utilizing, or even a spirit guide who brings you messages from this higher aspect of you. Or if you don't feel particularly connected to your higher self, it could be a message that you now need to start making this connection. The energy is strongly present, so why not learn to use it? Your higher self is most likely sending a message to you, and it is likely you know what that message is, even if you don't want to fully acknowledge it. The energy of any star in its raw form is a direct representation of the intelligence of creation itself, pure consciousness. It hasn't fragmented or individuated. It exists in a fully integrated state. This energy is present for you and is, in a sense, waiting for you to acknowledge it and accept its presence in your life. Even those people who feel fully connected to their higher selves can always go deeper. I love that. Do you feel like that's where you are?
That's where I hope to get to. I think I'm on the path to it, and I hope to get there someday. What
That's
about
really cool.
you?
So I didn't add anything to my drawing, but I can tell about my superpowers. So as it's kind of a wave form that goes up outside of the multidimensional reality that I created, I see it as I'm a person who is into research, so I'm always trying to go into places that we don't know yet. So I think that's my superpower, is that I'm not afraid to take risks and go to different places and come back with it, with news and with like, okay, let's facilitate it. Let's go tomorrow. Let's do that. And I think that's my superpower. I'm brave in sometimes stupid ways, but I'm brave to go places and create new forms of whatever I saw there. That felt so weird to say compliments about yourself, but like,
I know, right? That one was hard. I think that's why like I struggled to draw because I was like, oh, I have to think about myself now. Yeah.
you know what they're doing. Those Akashic records, they're like, hey, 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 let's have fun. Okay. So would you like me to read
Um,
the next question?
sure.
So how would you communicate with your spirit guides in this multi-dimensional realm? Draw what you please. If you imagine your spirit guides to be contacted by telephone, then the next time you want to reach them, visualize yourself picking up your phone and calling them.
I like that. That's so cute.
You channeled really cool questions. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, I don't have to draw another one because I already mine's gonna be very quick.
Okay,
I'm gonna
I'm
color
gonna
it
go
in.
into mine. You can see I didn't do art school, huh?
Me too.
Have you ever mm, had a change of guides, let's say?
Yeah. I don't think it's a, yeah, maybe it's a change, or like the ones that were guiding, I guess they felt like, okay, the she doesn't need us for the time being, or so they took a step back for newer guides to come in. That happened a while ago with the snake. I used to see the snake everywhere all the time, and then he took a step back. Sometimes he comes back, and it's usually when I say something like, "I wonder where the snake is. I miss the snake." But yeah, it happened, and they I have a few, and they're like, for a while it was one, I would see all of them, but one of them would always be the one channeling all the messages to me. So I would hear it in her voice or see it in her light form. So it's like they're with me, but they rotate kind of. So that I can see them all, but the voice they choose to use or the person they choose to use is different. Um, and then when I started working more and more with the Akashic records, I didn't really connect with my guides as much. It's just a little difficult because when you're in the records, you're in the records. It's really hard to be communicating with anything else outside the records. Um, yeah, I miss you all. Um, but yeah, I have had a change of guides, and I think, yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I've had that too. Especially when I changed life and I went back to France. It felt like I was saying goodbye to the guides that were like stepping in to help me with my life in Turkey. So yeah, and also um, not especially change of guides, but like when you lose people, some of them just are like, okay, now I'm dead, I'm gonna be your guide, and you're like, okay, cool. So yeah, that's interesting. But also those people are like, okay, now bye. Now I've been dead for a few months. I helped you, and now I'm going, and you're like, oh, okay. Are you sure? Okay. Anyway, I got emotional, but yeah, I've had those changes, and I think we don't usually talk about it. I've never seen anyone talk about it except one person. So I was like, let's try here right now. Maybe people needed to hear that, the fact that we're lucky to have them and they're temporary as well, as much as everything else in this world. So let's enjoy and see that they're here also for a reason, and that, I don't know, we can also call in new ones, which is also really cool. You're like, okay, you. Yeah. Mm-mm.
Have you ever tried using, well, it doesn't have to be Reiki, but that would be the main way I think I would use it. Have you ever tried using like Reiki to try and connect to a specific guide kind of thing? Or more like something that maybe wasn't guiding you, but then, you could use Reiki to connect to it, energy maybe that you specifically wanted to.
Frequency, yes, but not. I don't remember for Reiki. I think since I channel light language, I haven't been really using Reiki except for the attunements and for specific sessions. But I'm mostly using light language these days, and that really comes as in the breath and the blood and the movements. So I don't even think about it because everything is just that now. But I mean, yes, with animals and plants, for example, or even places. Like when I lived in Turkey, I was usually going down to public spaces and channeling the Akashic records in there, and just like channeling the Akashic records of the places and be like, okay, show me. And I would just watch people like this and spend hours outside in public just channeling. It was really cool. And I haven't done that in France. I think it's too creepy in here. The energy is really different. So I don't know if I would. I wouldn't feel safe doing that. I've done it during my trip um, in different places, and it was always really cool. But never Paris. What about you? Tell me about your channeling Reiki and guides.
So I've never done it to channel other my own guides. I've never done it to channel other guides outside the ones that I know I have access to. I've done it before though for like to connect to animals, to connect to plants and teas, like they're plants too, right? But like different kinds. Um, and I think it's really cool because I'm in a different room, but there's a 200-year-old Douglas fir tree outside my window when I moved in, and I've been using Reiki to connect with him. And I guess he is guiding me in a way, and he guides me. He teaches me mostly about this place of the world I'm in, this land that I'm in, what, and it's like he works together with me. um Now when I do my grounding energy, sometimes it's like both of us plug into the core of the earth at the same time, and he's kind of like, I guess, maybe a guide for his friends too, because he will also be like, well, this other tree in this area is my friend, so maybe go talk to this tree, and they need something, you know what I mean? And then it's like, okay, like I'll next time I'm out, I'll go try send Reiki or talk to this tree that um, is your friend and see what he needs. And then he will say stuff like, use Shonen and connect to me when you're walking there so I can tell you which one is my friend. So yeah, that's something I've been experimenting with.
I love that. This is so cool. Nice. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. So, do you have a drawing of your guide?
Yep. I
Okay.
repurposed my first one. Um,
Oh,
so his antennas are connected to his guides. So he's using his antennas to talk to his guides. And here too, just like all of the energy coming in. So it's connecting and receiving, and then talking from the throat, which should have been blue, but it's okay. Throat connection and heart connection.
I love it. He looks like fresh onions.
Oh yeah, I
I'm
forgot.
sorry, that is not here to offend anyone.
Oh no, I eat a lot of there's a kind of onion I specifically.
They're amazing.
Oh, what?
I'm gonna show you mine. So mine is a water bird. So he's full of water. He's a fluid, changing, cool, refreshing water bird. I see a lot of Asian, and they're blue and birds. So I don't know, I just felt like drawing him, and now I'm starting to understand that I really do have this guide that I've seen as a reflection of someone on this planet, and now I understand that it's actually also a guide. Like their highest self is kind of guiding me. I accept it.
Amazing.
That's cool. Okay.
Should I read the next one? Okay. What does it mean to build your community? Oh, I don't know how to. I think I should draw it in the very.
Let's go. What is a community? Do you feel tired? I feel like we're using so much energy
Yes.
channeling, and like I feel like ready to go to sleep soon. And I'm like, okay. It's 7 p.m. No, 8 p.m. Capucine, what the fuck?
I'm very glad they let us, or yeah, I'm very glad that this one was just all drawing because I feel like creative and I usually don't have time to draw or I don't take out time, I don't carve the time or find the time to draw. I'm very glad that we get to do this.
Yeah, me too. I love it. It's really fun.
Yeah.
Where is your Mercury usually?
Scorpio. Oh,
Ooh.
ahaha, yeah, who's the Mercury retrograde in Scorpio? Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
me too.
it's
I mean, we're
or it
not
will
born
be.
far away apart. We're born 20 days apart in the same year, so we kind of have those placements not very far away.
Do you is yours in Sag or Scorpio?
No, mine is in Scorpio, like the last degree of Scorpio.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. I'm not excited for tomorrow's retrograde, but it's good because I met with a lot of you guys during this week, just recording and being like, I'm planning, I'm planning. It was really cool. Yeah. I love it because I'm not always full of energy for the podcast. That's why I have like those breaks. But I truly love this project. I love the fact that it's giving me like kind of an excuse to meet all of you guys in like face to face. And I love it. I get to have the conversations that I dream of having, so people get also to listen to it, which is cool. Yeah. And this, for this season, let's say, if we call it a season, I only wanted to speak to people I know. Like, I didn't want to reach out to people I don't know. I was like, I want to stay with my friends. And I
That's
love it. It's been so good.
so fun.
Hmm.
What else can you make with apples outside of apple jam and apple pie and apple
You
chip?
can apple puree, kind of. We call it compote in French.
Oh, oh, is it applesauce kind of?
Not really, because you eat it on its own.
Oh,
It's
oh,
really like a mashed apples. Like, yeah,
oh.
it's really good. I love it. I'm actually gonna buy it soon.
I'll include
You
it.
can make cider.
How do you spell it?
Cider?
Com no,
Ah,
the
compote.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Compote.
Okay. It's in my drawing.
So this is community to you?
Still
Apples?
in the work in
Yeah.
progress.
You know what's kind of interesting is that what I'm drawing is a specific kind of idea that I had in my head. And then I was like, it looks like that pie from Snow White when she makes a pie. And I was like, oh, an apple pie. And now you're like, what is apple things? And I'm like, okay.
I drew an
Uh,
apple pie.
like, I don't know if you know this scene, but there is a scene in Snow White where she's like making a pie. it's such a cool scene. Always love the way she cuts things and like the birds are helping her to do the things, and I'm like, this is so beautiful. So I try to do this year.
I think I've only watched Snow White one, but probably I know which one you're talking about.
But maybe the secret, like to you community, I don't know what your drawing is, but if it's an apple pie, like mine is an apple pie, then maybe those memes about how the universe was cake was real. Like, you know, everyone's like, oh my god, this is a cake too. Like everything was a cake. And now we're channeling the Akashic records and we're like, yes, community is a cake. The world is a cake. Unity consciousness is a cake. Oh god, nobody will ever go to my teaching classes if I'm not serious like that. She channels the world as a cake. Oh god. Well, I don't know about you, but my drawing is done.
Mine is done too.
But yours?
Should I
Okay.
go first?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So as you can see, it's a very abstract concept. No, it's not. So an apple tree has an apple fruit, and like an apple can become apple cider, apple jam, apple pie. It can go back into the ground. The seeds can go back into the ground to form another tree. It can become applesauce or compote. And I think that's how I see it. Like maybe it's it works both like as an individual, so myself, plus as a whole, a community. Like we become the trees, and like what we share, what we can give, it doesn't have to just be like in one specific way. You can do it just through your presence. And the essence of what you believe in, what you share, what you want to make into a community, it can come in so many forms. Like maybe to this person it's an apple cider, to this person it's an apple pie, um, and you just keep going and going. But hopefully that change or that energy that you give, it hopefully goes back into the ground, and so like more trees will come up and the cycle repeats itself. So it's, I guess, community to me would be something that is continuously um, giving for growth or continual growth. Yeah. And shape shifting those energies and changes. What about
I love
you?
that. A gift that keeps on giving. um, so it felt like I was drawing again the multi-dimensional body, but this time everything was connected. And community is kind of accepting all the parts of you, and then you accept all the parts of other people. And we're all linked. We're all channels to one another, connecting the whole. That's how it felt. That's how it feels. We're only truly in connection with people when we're truly connected with us as well. Or
That's
when
so true.
they're holding that channel for us to be connected to ourselves, when they're showing us that way as well. Hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree. Oh,
So,
the shading.
sorry?
The shading that you did for the drawing. It's nice.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm considering art school after my beautiful mural.
Really like that one. I always look at it when you have it behind you. Nice.
You know, Grace saw it last time and she was like, it looks like Egypt. And I was like, huh, okay, I see that.
Oh, look at that.
So the
Oh,
next thing that you channeled was, can I read it?
yes, please.
Now compare these two sides by side. In the multidimensional realm, what does it mean to utilize your skill set, strength, and talents to build your community? How would you bridge the gap between the spirit realm and this to help your community? I like it.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
I-
If I could start,
okay.
I see that if that was multidimensionality, the fact that I go outside only to come back, it feels like I'm also going outside the community which is why I'm always at the borders of things, only to come back and bring back whatever I met and the riches, and like kind of create a channel between whatever I discovered and this, which is also something that I was planning on doing when I was studying journalism and I wanted to be a journalist. Well, I became a photographer, but anyway, it really was that, like making people discover a new thing that they didn't know. So I guess that's what I'm doing. Yay! Thank you, Records.
Oh, cool. For mine, I guess I can compare this and this, and I see it as people are multidimensional. They can take different different shapes, different like frequencies, and doing that for a community, it's the same thing. It's like knowing that somebody can be apple cider or apple jam or apple pie, and that is just the expression that they are, or it's like I don't even know how to explain it. It's like we are the same. We are the same apple, but we but an apple can just shapeshift the way these people can shapeshift, and it's knowing that we are the same. We are one. Kind of, we are from the same fruit, the same apple. And I guess in terms of bridging, I haven't thought of that. Maybe that's what the sun is. The sun shines down on the tree and it's sharing the energies. It's it's yeah, it's helping. It's feeding the apple tree. And I think that's what I would really like to do for my community. It's being, like not being afraid to shine, not being afraid to be like the sun, and knowing that, knowing who I am, and I'm just so confident that I know what it is that I can give and share, that I would love to make my community of apple trees grow even more.
Yes. Thank you, San. Thank you so much. I was wondering if you would witness that, if you would be like, I own it. I'm the sun. And I'm so glad that you did.
Woohoo!
Yay! Victory! Oh, all right. So, do you wanna continue? And you said like maybe we can prompt one another by being in the records, but right now you're not in the records, right?
No, I'm not in the record, but you can. Maybe it's your turn to bring up a prompt.
Okay. Okay, I'll just close my eyes and let it come. I get this. There is a liminal space between the eyes and the mouth, between what we perceive and then what we respond, what we give back, what we transfer. So, what would be that space like? What are the filters that you put on in this perception of reality? This bridge between reality and your truth, and then what are the other filters that you put between your mouth and society by actually maybe not fully showing your essence? So do you accept the world as is, or do you accept the world to see you and accept yourself as is? So maybe that could be a prompt that we draw, but also bring some healing to like ourselves by doing that as well.
Okay, I'm gonna focus.
There's so much that happens in the face. It's really interesting. Good.
Yes.
Okay, let's go. I'm gonna give reiki to my drawing.
I gave it to mine.
Mm. Do you want to show me what you drew?
Yes. Mine looks like this. It's the connection from here to here. Um, Ideally, everything would be from the heart. So I would see from the heart mind and communicate to the world from the heart mind. But then all of this is like the things that I have been led to believe, the things that I was maybe shown that that is how I should be projecting, that is how I should be, like talking to people, which aren't necessarily true and good. Um, so yeah, these are all of like maybe interference, I would call it. The stuff that's interfering and connecting from the heart mind. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
What about you?
Mm, I I started with okay. I started with drawing like eights for the two eyes, and then eights for the lips. And then I realized that the lips, even though we're called lips, it's just that one thing. And then we have two eyes. And I was wondering, like, why is there no unity in there? And they were like, because the unity comes when you have the third eye. So making that one part, those two eyes and the third eye, and then the lips together creates that kind of symbiosis where it just works together. And so then I just gave it reiki, and kind of it looks cute. I don't know. Just, yeah, they're cute. Voilà. Well, is there anything? I feel like I should be asking you if you have a message, like maybe a last message to give to the people who are listening, who had this introduction where you talked about, the masters, the healers, the loved ones.
Yes. It is something it's a very short message I channeled from the records last night. Um, I'll read it out. So if you have participated in this drawing session and you have, drawn all of these things, you've participated in the prompts, and I hope they've helped you realize that you are more than capable of being like literally becoming the change you want to see in the world, because you have it all within you. Like there's nothing preventing you from that. There's no, like you don't have to be very good at something to start doing something. You don't have to become the pathway to becoming like a master, or the pathway to becoming a sage is not, like somehow just becoming one. It's living through your experiences and through these drawings. And this is the message from the records now. If you are capable of envisioning this, then you are capable of anchoring these energies into the realm you currently reside in. We urge you to see yourself in this light and continue to remember that this is who you are, what you are capable of, and more. And I think that is something that we constantly have to remember, because it's so easy to get lost in things. Things move really fast in our realm. I feel like it's like you could just be on Twitter or on Instagram, and it's just like you just see something, and then your whole energy can be dedicated to that one thing that might not necessarily um, be something that you need right now. So it's very easy, I will say, maybe to get distracted. And there's a lot of things out there that serve to distract us for this purpose. So I really hope that all of us can remember that all of these things that we envision, they're almost like they are codes that are already embedded within us that we have a memory of, that we have knowledge of, and um, you're going to be able to do all of this. And I'm very excited. Please show us your drawings. I really want to know your talents. I really want to know what excites you, what you love, and what what your community is going to be like, because there's no going back now. And I don't know. I'm Yeah, please. And I know that whoever is listening, whoever does this, like, you are more than capable of it. So don't doubt yourself. I know it's hard because I'm like, I know exactly what it means to doubt yourself. But please, like, believe in yourself. Talk to your guides. If you pick up the telephone and call them, you're gonna get all the answers you need and all the answers you want already within you. So yes, I'm very excited. Woo. I
Thank
want
you
to say
so
I
much,
love every
Sarah.
Yeah. What about you?
Thank
Do
you.
you have a message for everyone?
Well, when I heard you speak about this, and I can relate to it, and even when you show your vulnerable self, I can see also my vulnerable self. And I think that between us and our highest self, who we are in this world and this universe, it's just a bunch of trauma. That's it. Just a bunch of fears and trauma that come from this life and other lives and wounds and stuff. But otherwise, you already are your highest self, like truly. And I know it's okay to hear that in one ear and goes through the other, or it's just staying at the mental layer. But maybe try to breathe that in and bring it into your heart. See that change. And I'm also the one who has to do those things, but but it's true. We're all super solar consciousness, like the sun that shines bright and nourishes our community, whether we choose it or not. So yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you, Sarah. Would you like to tell us about where we could find your work, where we can connect with you, and what you do?
Yes. You can find me mostly on Twitter, which is at the Lunar Jungle, on Instagram too, at the same handle, the Lunar Jungle, as well as my website. Guess what? thelunarjungle.com. Yeah. So I really hope that you guys tag us in your drawings and everything. I'm super like, ooh, I love art. And I really love any kind of expression of art. I, I just love it. Like, look at this. Like, if I put this in a museum for art critics, maybe they wouldn't say it's good, but I just love it. It's just so happy. So I really want to see what your heart expresses.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
I love that. Yes, get into your creating skills. Give birth to those beings. Like we could see it with your drawings. There's an energy. You created a consciousness around them. They give back. That's how I love whenever you share a drawing. Like you feel their energy. You gave birth to them. So
Yeah.
yeah, let's give birth to a lot of other beings. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.